Hey, let's set the hash when a new block is mined. First up, in the block.test.js file, let's add a new test which will ensure the hash value of the newly mined block is based on the proper inputs. So in block.test.js, within the scope of this MineBlock functionality, we're going to add a new test that says it creates a SHA-256 hash based on the proper inputs. Cool. And then we follow with our usual callback as the second parameter to this it function. As for the expectation, we want to make sure that the MineBlock hash value is equal to the crypto hash function call of the MineBlock timestamp, the last block hash, and the data, which is all the fields that are going in to this actual newly mined block. So the actual value is a MineBlock.hash. So that goes in the expect. And we want this to equal the result of calling crypto hash on the MineBlock.timestamp, as well as the last block.hash, and finally the data that is going into the MineBlock function itself. All right, nice. Now, once you have this new test, make sure to also require the crypto hash function at the top of the file. So we're going to want to grab this crypto hash function, and then this is the result of requiring /crypto hash, which is local at the root of the project. I'll actually place this after the Genesis data. All right, cool. So once that is saved, if you have the test running in the background, it should pick up the new test in the background. And indeed, we're getting a test that is failing when it's expecting that the result of the MineBlock hash is equal to something, but right now that is undefined. So let's change that in our block.js code. The MineBlock function needs to be based off of all of these fields. So rather than creating the timestamp and the last block hash, or rather the last block.hash inline, let's pull these out into variables. So we're going to get the timestamp and then set that to date.now at the beginning. Likewise, last hash is going to be equal to last block.hash right at the start. Cool. So instead of inlining these values, we can use the constant set right before. And this allows us to now use the hash key, which is going to be the result of calling crypto hash on the created timestamp, the last hash, as well as the inputted data. Cool. So that will create the hash for the newly mined block. And once this is saved, we should see, crypto hash is not defined, so we need to require that at the top. You might have already done this, something I missed, but props to you if you caught that. So go ahead and save, and then you should find a fully green passing test suite once more. So nice, the newly mined block now has a hash field based off the proper inputs. Cool, so that completes the overall MineBlock function, as well as the overall basic block class and block object. Nice. Now that we have this block class, we can focus on linking these blocks together to make the blockchain itself.